So it's ADHD Awareness Week, and sometimes being a creative with ADHD and trying to complete projects can feel a little bit like, well, this, cloudy and dark and overwhelming. But today, I want to help you feel like a little bit more like this. Hopefully after the 4 tips I had today on how to complete projects when you've got ADHD, just like me, you might feel a little bit more like, well, this behind me. Being neurodivergent means you can sort of struggle to get things done. Being ADHD myself, I can struggle to finish projects. When you're a parent like myself, trying to multitask is like trying to cross the Atlantic without a boat. It will work, but some days you really need to set some pretty solid boundaries. Having little kids and having been sort of stuck in a lockdown situation recently over the last couple of years has allowed me to learn a lot about multitasking and a lot about myself as far as how I interact with distractions. Key example, people with ADHD, I don't think a lot of people recognize this, and people with ADHD don't often recognize it themselves. We have physical sensitivities, sensory sensitivities. I often say I'm like the princess and the pea. When I'm trying to sleep, I have all these little bits and pieces. When I'm trying to work, I struggle with certain sounds and stuff. I've gotten better through very, very active daily, sometimes bi-daily meditation. But asking for those sorts of accommodations, sensory, especially with little children, can be very difficult. If you find finishing your creative projects are hard because you might get halfway through them and you just go, this is not working, or you're struggling to trust in the process, that would be my first sort of tip or advice, whatever you want to call it. My first piece of knowledge and wisdom would be try to choose something that you feel like has just been yearning at you, and if you don't do it and you don't finish it, you feel like you would regret it. That will get you through. Second of all, trust in the process. Everything you start looks ugly. If you need to, like a video for instance, sometimes I timeline them out. Like most of the time I have it in my head because I film it linearly, but if you have a film that you're trying to build, make it look like something, whether it's a script or it's just a timeline sort of thing you can put together. Art, same thing. Try to do a thumbnail. At the very least, the thumbnail is a good place to start, but it will also help you know where you want to finish. So if you visualize what you're doing and you work hard enough, like if you're at a point where you feel like your skills are equal to your relationship with the visualization and what you can see, if you feel like you're at a point where you can get what's up here down there, then all you need to do is learn some sort of time management stuff and just find the gaps, find the places, experiment, find the places in your day. Like for me, in the evening, I find that it's much easier to work on videos and things of that nature than it is to work on like a thumbnail, because my kids are asleep and I need to focus, and I want to hang out with them and I want to spend time with them, and they want to play games and pull on the laptop, stuff like that, play with the camera. I think my second piece of knowledge would sort of be like,
I should be awake.
lean into the distractions, lean into the process, and don't be too hard on yourself. Distractions are distractions, especially if you have got ADHD like myself. This is mainly for those of you out there who do watch who have ADHD or who are neurodivergent and struggle with distractions and sensory stuff. Don't be too hard on yourself. There's so many things on the market. I just saw the other day, Jen, my partner, she sent me this product. It's called Loop earplugs, and basically it's earplugs that don't drown out your children. It says here it brings it down to minus 20 decibels. So that sort of like brings the noise down to a point where it's bearable. It's sort of like background music. Minus 20 decibels is where I sort of put my background music in most of my videos. That's about the range. So that just be kind to yourself. Just be nice to yourself. Tip number 3, I would say, would probably be something to the effect of try to prioritize working in a job where you are sort of accommodated. If you have tasks and projects you need to complete, just be transparent, and if the job you work in, they're not happy with that and they're not okay with that, then I would say that it's probably time to move away from that job. I know I certainly have felt that in the past, and I certainly need to try to focus on that myself a little bit more often. I find myself working jobs where I just don't feel like I can do any better sometimes, and I don't feel worthy of a job where they are going to treat me as who I am and sort of accommodate me as well as I accommodate them, instead of I accommodate them first and then they treat me kindly because I'm acting like a neurotypical, you know. Yeah, and that will help you sort of finish projects, because if you've got that stress off you and you've got an understanding that, you know, you might need projects a little bit earlier to be given to you. You may have seen my video, Who Are You Meant to Be? It was a short film I made on neurodivergence and leaning into what you are good at and realizing that what you think is your weakness or what others tell you is your weakness is often actually your strength. So find those strengths and then make sure the work that you do and the job that you have can accommodate that. Obviously, there is absolutely certain situations where you are going to need to work job just for the money, and just do yourself a favor and don't get stuck in those jobs. Don't find yourself getting too trapped in those jobs, because they certainly can crush who you really are. They can take away from who you are. It seems like during all of this pandemic that everyone is sort of trying to accommodate different types of people, and hopefully the world can accommodate ADHD. And I think number 4 and the final one for me would certainly be learn some time management skills and learn how to best accommodate your focus. So something I like to do is get out a headspace or a meditation of some sort, or even just put some music on and just take 5 to 10 minutes to focus, to not worry about my to-do list, just let go of everything, just imagine it, just pretend like nothing needs to get done, and just do a quick meditation, 5 to 10 minutes, however much time I have before I have to start that particular task. Eventually you'll be able to turn your hyper-focus on when you need to, like I'm doing right now. But I often underestimate taking care of myself first, and things like eating healthy and exercise and everything, as well as meditation, and the effect it can have on my focus, on my happiness, on my joy, on the way my brain rationalizes things and gets projects done. So it sounds counterintuitive, but do yourself a favor and start off by stopping, take some time to focus, and you'd be surprised how much your projects get done. So in conclusion, I think the question I sort of postured is, can you really, how do you get projects done if you've got ADHD and you're a creative, right? Perhaps you're a professional. My answer to this is be kind to yourself and do your best to learn how you turn off your hyper focus, so that when you do start, you don't get too caught up in it, and just make sure that you don't stay out too late, get some sleep, just have those times every single day where you work on something. And if you get so used to that, you will struggle to just sit in front of the TV or sit on your phone. And the more you do it, the more you build that habit daily, weekly, whatever it may be, wherever you may need to start, the more likely you are to feel sick with inaction. You just get so obsessed with getting things done. But you have to start by being disciplined. Hopefully that makes sense. But thanks so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Do yourself a favor, backflip. Backflips are fun. Learn how to do a backflip. That's always fun. That might get your mind off things. Sherlock Holmes used to play the violin to get his mind off things, to help him figure out how to complete a project. I have been Jordan T. Mystic, and I will see you next time. In the next dimension, in another dimension, in the next timeline. I'll see you in the next timeline. Never forget, ladies and gentlemen, stay weird. Sorry, it's a fly. As far as creative projects go, I just try to keep a log of them, and I keep a list, and I prioritize certain ones, the ones that have been paid for, particularly commissions and stuff like that, and then I just make sure to keep a list so I don't lose those ideas, and then I just make my way through it in the gaps. I work a full-time job, I have a family, I have children, I have a fiance, and I have a business, as well as, content for YouTube. And I had to say no to a lot of things. For instance, saying no to Instagram, saying no to Facebook at times. TikTok I had to stop doing for a little bit, and only really use those social media platforms as a second-hand social media and focus on YouTube. However, when you're a creative using a platform like YouTube, you're making a project, then you're making a second project about the project you just made. So the art's one thing, but then making the sort of film, short film, whatever it is you choose to do, you're going to struggle because you're doubling up your workload. However, it certainly is a very good way to attach yourself to your creative work.